My name is Ken Zakariasen, and I am a professor at Kent State University in Ohio in the College of Public Health. For the last 10 years, I've been teaching leadership and organizational change in the health sciences, and I've taught approximately 5 years at each of the two universities. Currently, all of the students that I have go to school full time and work full time, and we accommodate their schedules to do that. They have tremendous experience. They have a lot of experience with effective leaders and with ineffective leaders. And we do educational exercises to help them analyze from their own real life experiences effective leaders and ineffective leaders, why effective leaders are effective and why ineffective leaders are ineffective. And then we pull this data together and we share that information between the students so they learn from each other in small group discussions. The original research that we did published in 2012 had to do with the practices of these leaders, whether they were effective or ineffective. For the effective leaders, what were the practices that made them effective in the eyes of those who were following them? And then also for the ineffective leaders, what were the practices, leadership practices, they needed to adopt if they hoped to become effective leaders? We found from that original research that most of the practices that were identified by students related to emotional intelligence. We replicated that data or that research at Kent State with a different group of students, and we found just about exactly the same thing. 90% in this case was 90% of the practices identified by the students were related to emotional intelligence. The other factors that we measured at Kent State were their persuasiveness of leaders, their level of authenticity to those who followed them. Then we looked also at credibility as an aggregate, and then also the individual components of credibility as defined by Koussis and Posner in their work, and that was honesty, competence, being forward-thinking as a leader, and be inspiring to the people who work under you. And then the last five characteristics that we look at were those of exemplary leaders as identified again by Koussis and Posner in their decades-long work. The first was modeling the way or setting the example for people that worked under him. The second was inspiring a shared vision, and the accent there is on a shared vision. And then the third was challenging the process, always looking for better ways to do things and then pursuing those ways. So constantly improving. The fourth characteristic or practice was enabling others to act, getting rid of barriers, creating teamwork, creating connections between people so that the work would get done more effectively and by individuals working together. And then the last of the five practices was encouraging the heart, looking at individual successes and group successes as an organization and celebrating those successes. We had the rankings done on a 10-point Likert scale, and with significant differences through all the factors, which kind of surprised us. The scores for the most effective leaders by the mean scores under each one of those practices was in the high 7s to 9 range for the effective leaders. For the ineffective leaders, they were down around 2 to 3, occasionally up to 4 for most of the characteristics. One factor of practice was competence, and that was actually over 5 even for the ineffective leaders. But it's very possible for ineffective leaders to be competent in their own work as disciplined people, and not be effective leaders, but be competent in their work. I think this whole combined area of doing research and teaching together can be a fruitful one, especially with full-time working adults. I think I'll stop there. If you have any questions, you can find my contact information in the program. Thank you.